we're past that.
Are you
now.
trying to do a turkey?
We're past that.
What? I'm a little bitter.
Or what about Thanksgiving?
I'll tell you what. I had, set aside from one thing, I had the best Thanksgiving. The most pleasant Thanksgiving I've had in decades.
Well, that's fantastic.
Do you want to know what that one thing was?
Bourbon.
So,
You pleasured yourself?
Whoa, that's a great Thanksgiving.
when you have when you've got
Tradition.
that internal when you size somebody up and you're kind of like, how much of a man is this person?
Oh.
And you're like, wow, I mean, can he, if shit were to hit the fan, you're like, can I really trust this guy to get shit done?
Ah.
But one of us failed. We've been desperately seeking Susan on getting Alan up here for the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And last week, we had the perfect opportunity.
Really?
And somebody didn't.
Really?
Someone didn't bring their A game.
Whatever. He didn't want to do podcast.
Sometimes people don't want to get shots.
You just say, hey, we're going to get ice cream.
Oh,
You
and
just
then
show up here.
Oh, and then stick a needle
Dude.
in his neck and
Yeah.
drag him up here?
No, just say, hey, we're going to get some ice cream. And
Huh.
it's up here.
All right,
Hey,
what, my father-in-law did not want to join podcast. He was visiting, and it's important that I spend time with him, so we didn't do podcast
Not good
right
enough.
before Thanksgiving. But we are rolling into the new week right after Thanksgiving. It was a wonderful break.
It was.
It
I had
was
the
a
whole week off.
wonderful
But let's
break.
back up.
Yes.
What about the late notice? Somebody had worked all day
Uh-huh.
and was looking forward
Uh-huh.
for this moment.
That's why you have a therapist.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jack Daniels is busy during the holidays, so my therapist isn't always just readily available.
So you had to go see Penelope.
Yeah, we did, which
Peen-
happens to
Peen
be
Loop.
our privileged drink of the
It
evening.
is.
I hear a gong in the background. Boom! Introducing post-Thanksgiving. What the fuck is this?
It's bourbon.
It's a rye bourbon.
No.
No,
Well, it's primarily a rye bourbon.
it's a blend.
It's a blend.
It's a blend of 3 different bourbons.
Four.
Well, it says up here, right? The process. So Penelope bourbon it's a blended
It's a rye bourbon.
bourbon. No, it has wheat and malted barley
It has all
And corn.
and corn and rye.
So they take
And rye.
a 91% rye bourbon. They take a corn
No,
bourbon.
they don't. It's the bourbon is not 91% rye.
No. Well, this one is.
No,
No.
it's not.
No, what they're saying is they take 91% rye bourbon.
Yes.
So of the mixture, 91% of that is rye bourbon.
bourbon.
Yes.
And then
Correct.
like 5% is corn. I forget which one. And then 4% is rye, or vice
Correct.
versa.
wheat, right?
Or wheat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
And I
Oh,
think
I'm actually wrong. It's actually 3 bourbons, not 4. It's 3 bourbon mash bills
well, what's
comprised
the,
of 4 grains:
Oh, and
corn,
malted
wheat,
barley is
rye,
the base.
and malted barley. Right.
all right, there you
All right.
go.
So a little background. All right. So the reason why I was very excited to pick this bourbon.
Interesting. The bottle says 4 to the bottle says 3 to 5, but the website says 4 to 6.
And Paul
Yes.
dropped a cool G on this.
Cool G.
How much was this?
It's expensive.
I thought it was like over 50.
Yeah, it was in the 65.
Yeah,
60 to
it was
65
more
dollar
than we
range.
normally spend on a bourbon. But here's the thing. So Jeff
It's a
and
good
I
feeling.
went to this very cool
I'm drunk.
a cool bar. Actually, it's a
It's
restaurant.
kind
that
of a
has-
speakeasy kind of a thing.
yeah, it's a speakeasy. It has a hidden bar inside the restaurant. I think we may have talked about this before. But what is the name of that place?
Rare Books.
Rare Books.
Rare Books. And
All right,
this
so
is
you have to
Frisco,
know
Texas.
you have to know the code to get in. But when we walked
Seriously?
in,
Yes.
the door was already open. So
Did you? What
we
is the
just walked
code?
in.
Is it a gesture?
This changes every week, I think, right?
It does. So
And you have to pick up then they have the old British telephone booths, the red ones. You go in there and pick up the phone and you say
and you give them the code, and they open the door for you.
onomatopoeia and they let you in. Right?
Now, but when we walked in, the door was already open because somebody had just walked in, so we just walked in after them.
Yeah, and it's like a bookshelf.
Did you guys know the code?
Well,
Yeah,
we
we
did
did.
know the code, but they didn't ask us because we already kind of walked in. The experience was kind of ruined for us because
they
the
frisk
door was
you?
already open.
Yeah.
No,
Did
they
frisk
did
you?
not frisk us.
Hmm.
But I tell you what, so they
Was it a dial tone or was it like a push button?
we never had
never
to.
walked into the booth.
But you saw the booth.
We
Oh,
did
yeah.
saw the booth.
We,
So,
didn't,
I
we didn't
mean-
pick up the phone.
We did
But-
not pick up.
No, you didn't look at the phone.
We
So you went there
I
for the
explained.
experience and didn't observe what the phone was to get into the booth.
that's what
No.
I said. It's the
Unfortunately,
old-
British
British style.
telephone booth.
Yes.
See, this is hand in hand to half-assedness.
Yeah, we half-assed
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
We could have waited for the door to close
You were
again.
more
You know,
interested
I was
in getting into the bar
No.
and doing a selfie to send to me that you're there without me
I was actually
than to fucking
well, that-
pay attention to what the fuck is going
Someone
on.
was in New
That's
Jersey
very
enjoying
true, by the way.
their life
Yeah, that's very true.
in his new home, New Jersey.
So we got in there.
I was in New Jersey?
Yeah, that's when you were in New Jersey.
Yes, that was when you were in New
Fuckers.
Jersey, saying, "Oh, this is way beautiful, more
This
more
is
beautiful
better
than Texas."
anywhere I've ever been.
I
Yeah.
love New Jersey.
Can
I
believe-
love all the liberals.
Why is he still part of this podcast?
I
By the
know.
way.
I love New
After a
Jersey. It's
statement like that.
beautiful.
Anyway, so we
Beautiful.
went into Rare Books bar, and they have a lot of bourbons.
They probably had over 100.
Yeah, and
It may have
they
equaled our collection.
I don't know. Yeah, our
and they
collection-
ranged from probably what
I think the low end.
11, 10 or $11 a
no,
shot.
No, it was more than that.
Was it
I think
15?
the cheapest one I saw was about $15 a shot,
All right,
on
so
up to
15 up to
over $100 a
yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Right?
So this was one that was
I'll
on
tell
the
you what.
lower end. I would say this was a $20 shot,
When
maybe Penelope.
when our roster gets up to 200, 300, people will pay to come to this podcast to bask in its glory.
Are you so sure about that?
No. But think about it.
Just to
I
look
know,
at it.
right? Just because of the stupid.
I mean, your guys are going to the glory hole. What is it called?
It's
It's
not
not
glory,
hole.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, yeah, it's not a sexual joint.
It's not the truck stop down the.
I didn't realize
Street.
glory. Oh, okay. My memory's. So where were you guys at again? What was it called?
Rare books.
Rare
oh.
books.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
That's
We need to go,
completely
but
different.
it's a once in a while because you're not getting out of there for
Oh, it was
cheap.
It was expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the shots are not just a shot. I mean, it's a strong pour.
Well, some of them you get 2 ounces.
Oh, that's where I got glory hole.
Some,
All right, but anyways, go on.
some of you get an ounce, depending on the rarity of it. I think some you get an ounce, some you get 2 ounces.
Right.
I think the ones we got lucky and we got 2 ounce pours.
And so I was very impressed with Penelope. All
Well,
right, so
they
let's
have
talk about
like
it.
if you order like a martini, it's like if you order a shot, it's different from ordering like a martini or a Manhattan. Some of those they're more. I don't know how much. I was
Right.
gonna say 3 ounces. So if you order a martini, it's gonna 3, but I think it's a little bit more because it's
Like if you order a straight shot.
yeah. That's why you guys think sometimes you get more. Is there a specific type of bourbon? God, that would be nice to get a big.
I'm
old-
sure they had.
Oh,
I'm
they
sure
had a
they
whole
had
bunch.
the drinks and everything. I mean, it was a full bar, and they had foods and stuff like that.
They did.
Would
It
you-
was good. Yeah.
Wow, I did that shot during
Yeah,
the
you're
intro.
struggling. Okay,
I
let
am.
me tell you why you're struggling. This is 119 proof.
They just shot
This
a
is probably
2
one of
ouncer.
the. This is probably the second most potent bourbon we've ever tried. There's one that's 130, right? That we have.
We have one that's
We
140.
did a Jack Daniels one that was
Well, the Rumble
about
out
that
there is
high.
139 and a half.
Good lord.
That's the highest, and Noah's Mill is 120, isn't it? 126.
116 actually.
No.
yeah. That's nothing. I'm telling you, this is up there, man.
Yeah, it is.
119
Yeah,
proof. that's,
and it's got a very exciting taste. I mean,
Well,
honestly,
and it should burn like hell, but it doesn't.
it did.
No,
It
doesn't.
did when you did the whole glass.
Oh, well,
Well,
yeah, yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
Remember when I was like screaming for a piece of bread or something?
yeah.
I was
It's like I need bread. Now that it's
my poor, all I can hear is my inner monologue screaming at me like Scotty from Star Trek. You can't hold it. What you doing again?
Okay, so the char on the barrel, on the stave, it's a number 4, and on the head, it's a number 2. It's 4 to 6 years aged. All right, so it's a 4-grain blended whiskey of 3 different bourbon mash bills comprised of 4 grains. All right, so
and we think this is an MGP product.
maybe
Well, it was
It's-
distilled in Illinois. I don't recall what
Indiana.
the. I'm sorry, Indiana.
Typically, when you see distilled Indiana, that's
It's
where
a
MGP is.
standard one.
Yeah, I don't know about the city. I'm sure there's
I-
others there, but the big one's MGP.
I don't recall what specific city it was in.
it is good.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's actually. In fact, I shouldn't have said that. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't think.
Well,
it's not bad. Is good enough for it.
Well, Penelope is there's a few different
It's a
versions.
Penelope.
A Penelope. This is the
Penelope.
private
No,
selection
Peen.
barrel strength. So that's the one we tried at Rare Books, and the one that Paul liked was his.
Wow. So they have
No. We tried 4 grain at Rare Books.
No, you tried this one, the black label.
Hold on, 4 grain. What are you? speak of?
No, it's this private select barrel strength. It's the black
I don't
one.
even see 4
yeah.
grain.
I'm sorry. Yes, I thought there was one called 4 grain, but underneath that it says 4 grain. Doesn't
Yeah.
it? Okay,
It's
my
the
bad.
private select barrel strength,
Okay,
limited availability.
Well, we managed to scoop up a bottle.
Yes.
We did, and it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoy it.
You know the best part about this moment is that I've had more than you, and I have more
right,
to drink.
right now, that's a good moment.
Yeah,
But in about an hour, may not be a good thing.
that's true because I'm going to sip on this.
Yeah.
Damn, you had another strong pour too. All right.
I'm going to give you some.
So this is you're welcome to.
Oh, I thought he was going to resist. He was like, "Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
hell
take
no.
some."
I'll take it.
I'm good with that. All right, so this is the last podcast of November. Believe it or not, we are rolling into December, and the Christmas.
Is tomorrow December 1st? Tomorrow's December 1st.
Well, I guess it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Time flies, man. It is
It
just
is.
crazy. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, this year's coming to an end, guys.
So
Stephen went back to school today.
he's already gone.
He went today.
Why?
Dawson went
He
on
still has
Sunday.
class.
Oh yeah, you guys. My kid's the one that like.
Dawson went back on Sunday.
What did I say? He killed his schedule. Is basically what it was. Well, he changed it. He changed majors, and and unfortunately, the classes he was enrolled in didn't. It just didn't work out. So
Right.
it was a complete waste of money,
Mm.
unfortunately. But it's a great experience for him, and I'm glad he was able to experience it. Even though I want to choke him.
Right. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, he'll be back next week, but he's going down there to finish up.
Right. All right. So, do you guys want to roll right into our kind of our
No.
dedicated segment, or do you want to?
Do we have like intro music
You
for the
wanna
dedicated?
catch up?
segment?
No,
No,
we
no,
need to
no.
come up with one.
Oh my god!
It
Just
kinda-
Island Boy. How about that one?
No, that is super gay.
No, we're not gonna do
Stupid.
that one.
Yeah.
That's more of a visual thing.
Yeah. He showed it to me on the way over here, and I
The
I
post,
could have lived without it.
the post memes were far more funny than the original.
Well,
The-
these idiots are probably
the
rich
midgets
kids.
that sing it, and the midgets were hilarious because they're sitting on a kitchen countertop with their feet in the sink, and
Making
they're
fun
like
of
they're in the hot tub,
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's an Island Boy.
Okay. So, is this the last week, last couple days?
I have no
Of
idea.
what?
This Island Boy thing.
Man, well, it's a trend, so it'll pass, and it'll pass strong because they went to a venue last week and they got on the main stage and they had 2 wireless mics and they were all dressed up and had all
How do you know all
the
this?
cliche things and the Island boo boo boy.
They were booing
trying
him?
to make it. Oh, they were booing them off the stage because they're fucking horrible. They need to be booed off the stage.
Yeah, they're
Get
terrible.
the fuck out of here! You are a poor representation.
I think
of,
what they
of life.
what they misunderstood was what they did not understand is people were making fun of them
Yes, it's a mockery.
when they were sharing the video.
But that's all right. Hopefully they'll be
They
able
probably-
to absorb it and they'll take the
But-
money and they've made better with their teeth. I mean, the first thing they did was like they got money was they fixed their fucking teeth.
Well, no, they had grills,
Yeah, they had all this shit on there. Now they're like white.
veneers.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that's
I don't
going
know,
on
but
there.
they
Where are
said-
they from? Like,
Big honeycomb apple chompers.
where are they from?
They're from Cuba.
Are you serious?
Well, that's where they're from. I'm just an island boy, just trying
Well-
to make it.
I don't think they are from Cuba. Maybe their parents, maybe
Well, somewhere in the lineage, they're
Okay.
at
All
some
right.
point.
Oh, maybe they
Kinda
heard
like-
their father come
kinda
home.
like
their
Kamala
father came
Harris
home singing. Just
is,
island boy.
The first Asian.
Right.
Now she's the first Asian female.
Oh.
What?
Really?
Yeah, that's what they're discussing now.
Oh, okay.
Who's the first Asian?
Kamala.
Yeah.
She's Asian.
She's part Indian.
Yeah, she's Indian. I thought she was Hispanic.
No,
So she's an
No.
Asian and
Jamaican, I believe.
Indian. Oh, Jamaican. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamaican.
So she's an
and Indian.
island girl who made vice president.
What they were doing is they were saying she's the first Asian minority woman to be president because she was president for 85 minutes while Biden got
Oh,
his,
God. Vomit.
colonoscopy.
Vomit.
Jesus
Vomit. Vomit.
Christ.
So,
Okay.
that whole
Yeah.
thing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She will not be president. I will tell you that right now.
I wonder if she's a squirter.
Like that lady on stage.
What was that all about? Okay,
Whoa.
first off, she was peeing on the guy's.
On the guy's face.
All right, so
Yes.
back up. It's
Like a s-
Sophia. It's brass against.
This is a freaking
What is that?
geyser.
Some
All right,
punk,
brass
some
against
punk?
is they take contemporary songs and they influence it with brass, and so they take like these heavy metal songs and they just put some
Like
trumpet
Rage Against the
influence.
Machine.
Yes, exactly.
And tubas.
And she was actually on some sort of Star Search, not Star Search, but something similar. And I think she exited out ranked number 8 on
Did she
that
shit
particular
on stage?
series. No, that was a one
Yeah.
and done. That was a one and done. She's never done something like that before. In fact, the band was mortified
I
that
bet.
she had done that. Dude,
Okay,
listen.
first off, why was somebody
for
laying
our
on
listeners,
the stage?
our listeners out there, let me fill you in what's going on. So for some reason, this thing came out where this guy was like, "Hey, I want you to pee on my face in the middle." So this was like, they knew this was going to happen, and because they had posted on Twitter, this guy did, some fat biker guy, and
He was big, fat, and bald.
and he was up at the front row like he said he was going to be, and he was like, "Hey, remember me? I said it on Twitter." And she acknowledged it, and she said she knew what was going to happen, and
She
she
drank
called,
a
"All
whole-
right, get him up on stage."
She drank a whole bottle of water to prepare for it.
Oh my
She
god,
did?
dude!
Well,
when
you're
she-
basing that on
So
how,
when
how
you-
much she peed on him.
You
was
had
it-
like
it was
R.
freaking-
Kelly. Do you remember
It was a
the
gallon.
shit that he went through when he took his penis out and slapped some bitch in the mouth with his urine?
Who?
No.
R. Kelly?
R. Kelly.
I know
Do you
he's in
remember
prison
that?
now.
Well, isn't that the guy that he got convicted of?
Exactly. That's my point. What the fuck?
Yeah.
He did this
Now,
on
granted,
stage?
yeah, well, he did that on stage, but there was a little bit more than that. And I think maybe the girl was underage. That had a lot to do with it. But
Wow. You
still,
think?
it's about public decency and inappropriate. I mean, if you get caught urinating in public, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
on
it
someone's
is.
face?
It can be behind a dumpster,
Right.
behind a fucking bar.
Did she get in trouble for it?
Well, that's my point. Look, that's my fucking point. I'm sick of these fucking people taking advantage of the system because they're women. You know, it's just like all these women say, "I want women's rights." Man, you have more rights than guys do. You know,
Meaning she can piss on some guy's face and get away with it?
absolutely. You know, there was a story, we may have discussed this within the last year, where some woman pleaded out to a group of folks saying, "Hey, he's beating me up, and they killed him.
Yeah.
They fucking went tribal and killed him. I didn't mean to get this out of him. It bothers me. First of all, that she did it because it was kind of cool actually to see it. I mean, she got up there.
No.
Oh,
It's
boy.
gross.
No.
The biker guy gets up on stage. He's got the vest on.
It was
he's
steamy.
He's old. He's fat, and he's got a cup. And he lays down on the ground, puts a cup on his forehead, and she's dancing. And they got the brass in the background. And the Bob's looking at Brian. He's like, "Hey, what's going on there?" And Davey's looking over at Brian. Brian's like, "What the fuck?" And then Bob and Davey and Brian all looking at each other like, she's gonna do it. And she fucking hikes up her
She
skirt.
pulls her pants down.
Pulls her
And
pants down.
she gets ready. She pulls her stuff out and she blasts the scoot. And first it starts out as a kind of a stream, and all of a sudden it was like a tri-stream, and then shit just got violent.
Yeah.
Well, he was like thoroughly like dissecting this
Oh.
process. What she did.
I think he
It was
watched
one
it more than
stream
once.
and a tri-stream.
There was a point
I think
where
he watched it 10 plus
her
times.
urine went supernova. I mean, it was like
knocked the cup off his
it was
head.
a gyration.
It's
That
gross.
supernova was when the dude stood up, and he was like,
He-
"Woo!"
and then he flung his
fucking-
face at-
he shook his face and then went. And when he did that, there was
It's gross.
I mean,
It was gross.
If that was COVID, the entire auditorium got it.
It's
urine.
gross.
Urine. Then he wiped his face and flung his hands into the crowd.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was
part, too.
disgusting.
I
I
didn't-
mean,
yeah, I
come
really
on.
didn't need
Yeah,
to
I
see
didn't.
that.
When you sent that to us, I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? Oh,
And it was like in 4K.
I only watched. Did you like
Yeah,
zoom in on it?
I didn't zoom in, and I didn't watch it more than once.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh,
it
hold on.
once.
You both said that. Is that something you can do with 4K?
I don't know. I'm
No,
assuming.
he streamed it up to his TV so make it bigger.
Oh, yeah. On your 80-inch.
I did.
and
Well, actually, that's where I
Gross.
first saw it.
Anyway,
then you're like, I gotta send this.
so gross.
Yeah, it kind of was
Yeah,
gross.
I wonder if YouTube's blocked it yet.
Probably not.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
I feel bad for the rest of the band because is it Nassau? It was
NASCAR.
NASCAR. That's what they've banned them. They were like, "Well, you can't come back. Sorry."
How do you know that?
So-
You read the story
So
about it?
Yeah.
Well, I Googled it and I read a news article. That's where she said, yeah, she drank a whole big bottle of water to prepare for this.
Yeah, so this was premeditated. They knew they were going to do it. The dude was down there. He had made some sort of
Well, I don't think the
comment.
band did. I think she did, and the big fat guy did.
Yeah, that's my point.
How bizarre.
Well, you know what? It got them a lot of publicity.
Yeah, but
They're on the. You know what? It got them a lot of publicity. That's just some crazy shit, and some people like to be pissed on. Evidently, that dude.
They call that a golden shower.
yeah,
Wow, he.
that was more than a shower. That was a freaking
Yeah,
Sand blast.
Golden flood.
It was like a pressure.
That's disgusting. All right, let's move on. That's disgusting. Ugh. I'm good.
You like that?
It's
No.
probably warm.
No, I would not have.
Oh,
liked
I
that.
didn't think about that. It was all super
Oh,
warm.
gross.
That's nasty.
Oh
It's
man,
so nasty.
probably creeping in every pore. It's in his eyes.
All
People
right.
go like, "Do you eat?
Yeah.
That's pineapple and
Asparagus.
asparagus."
All right. So,
All right.
So one of the things that we wanted to talk
Very
about
salt deficient.
was meat, right?
Yeah. Speaking of meat, did you get a side view of that when she was peeing?
No, I didn't examine the
Lord.
damn thing.
We got it.
All
right.
Anyway, so you know what so the topic of meat came up because I don't think I'm not sure dudes like us, right? I know I definitely like a dude like me doesn't know exactly where everything comes from
Well,
a cow.
this is the penis, and this is the buttocks.
no.
Well, I do. I know
Well,
where this stuff
I
comes
don't.
from.
Yeah, no, I do not. Right. So I mean, we talk about all these different types of steaks, right? Ribeye steak, porterhouse steak, sirloin steak. I mean, usually
So
steaks, right?
the producer has put up a photo of a cow. It's a large one, and it's portioned out. It's got the neck, breast, chuck, lower chuck, short plate, flank, shank, round rump, sirloin, tenderloin, short loin, and all these circles around it that detail all the different types of meat that you can pull from different areas of the cow.
Right.
And I'm with Paul. I'm starting to cook in the last couple of years. I'm not fantastic at it, but I'm starting to work some of the stuff out, and I didn't even realize where exactly this meat came from.
See, what you'll do is you'll learn which ones have good marbling, which ones don't, and stuff like that.
Right.
So, for instance, I tried to smoke a bottom round roast, and there's hardly any fat in that at all. It's just muscle,
Right.
and you have to crock pot that thing because when I smoked it, it was extremely dry,
Right.
and you have to crock pot it and let it just cook for hours
With water
with
in there.
juice
So,
of some sort.
right.
If
Steam.
you were to anticipate a dry, what is it called?
This is a rump roast.
If you were to anticipate to cook a rump roast and you knew it was going to be dry, would you be able to proactively put like some oils in it, like avocado oil?
Well, I think what you do, because the way the muscles are in those is they're very long, so you get long strips of meat. It's really good for like shredded barbecue, so you can have it all mixed already with the barbecue sauce. Because even if you cook it in the water, the meat is still going to be dry,
Right.
right?
Unless you serve it with something.
unless you mix
that
it with like
moisturizes
a
it.
barbecue sauce or something like that, or a
Right.
gravy or something like that. So it'd be good for like barbecue sandwiches if you're going out to a picnic or something like that. You have a big vat of it, and you just here's your barbecue
All right.
sandwich.
So before we dive into what different cuts are good for, so Jeff, why don't you walk us through, front to back or top to bottom, however you want to do it. Let's walk through our audience what exactly the different parts of the animal are and what cuts come from them.
Well, we'll start at the top and we'll
Okay.
go around. We'll go clockwise.
Oh, I forgot. We have Jeff here, and Paul and Sean,
Oh,
Right.
yes, that's right.
Yeah, we do. I'm
Yeah.
Paul.
Or dudes like us.
and I'm Sean
And I'm Jeff, of course.
Jeff.
Yeah.
And Jeff is our meatologist.
He is our meatologist.
No, I don't know. I'm still learning. So we'll start at the top, the chuck, like chuck roasts and stuff like that. It's basically the
Chuck's been on our show.
the what do you want to call it? Like the shoulder, the
yeah.
top,
Yeah, I would call it
right behind the head, right?
I would say the shoulder
The
at
hump.
the top. Yeah,
the
hump at
right
the top
up on there,
So it's-
and all the way down, like almost.
To the leg,
to the top of the leg. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, through the leg. Yeah.
right? So that's where a lot of your roasts come from, the chuck roast, and it's nice and marbled. So if you smoke one of the, actually if you smoke a chuck roast, they turn out really really good.
You're talking about the top chuck.
I've done that.
Top chuck ends at the shoulder, at the bottom of the shoulder.
So the bottom chuck. Anyway,
Yeah, so there's a lot of things in the circle for chuck that I've never even heard of, like mock tender roast,
yeah, that's
flankin style ribs.
Yeah.
yeah, I've never heard of those.
Yeah, I've never heard of arm pot.
I've heard of
roast.
mock tender roast. I've never understood what the hell that is.
That's where the short ribs are because you're starting to get into the ribs, right? So that's probably the back of the chuck. So you have the short ribs.
Okay.
And I've also heard of the blade steaks, right? I've also heard of those, but mostly, like you get roasts out of that area, that section.
Right.
You know, different
Big roast that you would throw into a crock pot.
Right. You get you get bone in and all that good stuff, right? Like the arm pot roast, that's getting close to the front leg.
All right, so let's move to the breast, which is obviously on the bottom part of the animal in front of the legs.
Right. So that's where your brisket comes from.
There you go.
That's why it's so nasty because it's it's heavily used. That's why the brisket is such a nasty cut of meat, and it takes forever to cook. Right?
Okay.
So that's why it's like that. So it's two muscles actually that make up the brisket.
All right, so just to reiterate that, the briskets, like what we all love beef brisket, right? That
Right.
comes from the bottom of the animal, from the breast, in front of the legs.
Yeah, right in front of the legs. So,
All right.
So it gets lots of use as it walks around and stands.
All right, so they call it brisket whole, brisket flat half, brisket point half,
And then you get the shank, which
and then
is
shank
which is-
cross cut,
which is the leg, right?
part of the front leg, okay?
So it's probably the top of the leg where there's meat on it, and there's usually a bone, the big femur or whatever that is that goes through it, right?
Okay.
So it'd make a good roast. You know,
Okay.
You get the bone marrow in there and all that good stuff.
Okay. All right. Now we're staying on the bottom of the animal, moving towards behind the legs now. What do we have there?
So they call it a short.
So it's like where
plate.
the ribs are at, the lower ribs?
No,
Between the two legs?
No.
Or the forelegs?
no. It's where your skirt steak and your flank steaks come from.
Okay, that's where your fajitas come from.
Right.
Right
so what's
behind,
down there?
on
Oh,
the
that's just
bottom.
basically exposed belly.
Yeah, it's and what you do if you watch someone butcher a cow, the skirt steak is actually inside and they cut it out. It's actually a muscle that's in the inside. I think it's the diaphragm muscle, maybe,
Okay.
possibly if I remember correctly. Then you get the flank steak, which is right on the sides, right?
Yeah, and that has no flank steak. Usually doesn't have much fat either, right?
Yeah, but if you cook that right, if you grill it, that's really good stuff.
Okay.
That's really good stuff. Has a really nice. And if you overcook it, it gets really tough. So you have to be careful. And I usually sear it real good, season the hell out of it, sear it, and get it up to about 130, and then pull it off.
Right.
Right.
Because it's so usually very thin cuts.
It's thin. Doesn't take very long.
Right.
And then you slice it, and we usually, like you said, make fajitas or tacos or put it
Or
on
put it
salad.
on rice, put it on noodles,
Yeah, you can
whatever.
put it on anything. So we usually slice it, and sometimes we just have that and a side. Right.
All right, so those are two huge cuts, right? Brisket and fajitas.
Right.
And that's in front of the legs and behind the legs for the skirt steak, which
Right.
is fajitas.
So
All
there's two types of briskets. Before we go too far to the back, because this you got the flat and the point. So the point
A brisket, yeah.
of brisket. So
The point is the thick part where all the fat is. There's two muscles that make up the brisket.
but are these two separate cuts that you would go to the store and buy?
No. When you buy a whole
Not
brisket,
typically.
when you buy a whole brisket, it includes the flat and the point.
Okay, because they listed them on the sheet that I've got as two different.
Well, they do up here as well.
Okay.
So you can easily, if you buy a whole one, you can easily separate them because there's a big layer of connective tissue, and you could cut those apart easily.
I mean, if you go to a butcher, you can ask for a flat half or a
But
point half.
typically it's a
But it's typically-
balanced.
Typically
One's fatty,
it's
one's
one
not.
big
One
long.
big thing.
It's one big brisket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
that's
could
right.
buy the
You know, 10 to 14 pound or 10 to 16 pound brisket.
right. Well, you could also find at Kroger or Tom Thumb or wherever you buy just the flat.
That's
some,
right.
Some people don't want the big, nasty.
Yeah, they want it lean.
They want the lean end.
Right.
And sometimes when you make like like pastrami's made out of brisket.
Really?
And
See,
it's
that's a whole different thing we haven't talked about, which
And-
is lunch meat
and corned
and
beef.
where lunch meat comes from.
And corned beef is usually the flat of the brisket.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
So, okay.
it's just
well, I'm not going to
corn.
get us off track. All right. So we're still at the bottom. We're moving towards the back. So
Right.
it goes from short plate, which is what we just talked about, which is skirt steak and flank steak, to flank. A
Well-
whole area that's
Well,
called flank.
that whole area is where you get the flank steaks from.
Okay.
Right? For whatever reason, they're just pointing to the short plate.
Yeah, they kind of are. Okay.
Yeah, so then you have the back shank, right? So you can cut that and have a nice shank roast, right, with a bone in it and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay. All right. But that we've kind of exhausted that area. So
Right.
now it really now we got round.
Then you get out to which is basically the rump.
It's
right?
Are people okay? Yeah, the rump, the butt.
Yeah, the butt of the cow.
It's like the bottom of the butt though, because there's a section on top we'll get to in a second. But yeah, it's basically the butt of the cow, the hindquarters, like I guess where you'd find a ham on a pig almost, right?
Right.
But the ham usually includes the shank as well.
And everything's called round. Round steak,
Yep.
bottom round roast, bottom round steak.
And it's very lean. So if you get a round steak, just know it's going to be very lean, and you have to cook it correctly. Otherwise, it's going to be really dry.
Okay.
All right.
Now I'm seeing something else there. So I always hear about California. They're real big on tri-tip. Tri-tip, tri-tip, tri-tip. I see tip,
Those are the sirloins.
tri-tip. I see tip steak.
Well, tip steak. That's
Is
tip
that
roast.
is that the same thing as
No.
tri-tip?
No,
Okay.
tri-tip's coming from a different area.
Okay.
So it's just another part of the round, right? You know, you can cut all kinds of different roasts out of it.
So hold on. So there's tri-tip steak and then there's strip steak. Which one are you saying?
Tri-tip.
Tip.
I know that's huge in California, and I don't know what's special or different
Well,
about
tri-tip is usually almost like a triangle shape.
it. Okay.
It's got 3 tips, right?
Okay. And cut from where?
It's up here. We'll see. in a
Okay.
minute.
Well, let's get to that.
So scroll up. So that's where a lot of your other roasts. So you got the chuck on the one end that has a lot of marbling in it. Then you have the
Chucking
round.
right behind the neck.
Then you have the round,
the
which
butt.
is a lot of.
There it is. Tri-tip steak.
Right.
Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
So the round is another place where a lot of roasts come from, but it's very lean.
Okay. Okay.
Then you have the rump, right?
They don't say much about the rump on this
Well,
diagram.
I think it's part of that whole thing, right?
Okay,
So
round
it's-
and rump, basically the back end of the animal, top and bottom,
right.
kind of produces the same sort of
Yeah.
rump roast.
It's very lean,
Okay.
very lean.
Okay.
So then you move over to the sirloin, which is right in front of the rump.
So it's the top of the animal towards the back, but not all the way at the back.
It's kind of like the hips, I guess, the back hips.
Yep, back hips,
Kind of
sirloin.
hips. That's where all your sirloins come from. And when you get a sirloin steak, you can go to Outback and get a sirloin.
Oh yeah,
That's what that is. It's usually
the
not.
sirloins
but it's usually the cheaper
basically
steak.
It is. It's
where
cheaper.
the bull's hoofs will land on the back of a cow when it's mounting it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good observation.
Nice, but
Yeah,
it's
thank you for
typically
that, John.
more lean as well.
That's
right?
why.
That's where the tri-tip
It
comes
should be
from.
tenderized.
And that
because-
is where tri-tip. So I see tri-tip steak, tri-tip roast.
Oh, and that's where the tenderloin came from. It's from
And the
Wow.
tri-tip.
That gets very tender underneath there.
It's a good
the,
piece
the
of meat.
shape of it.
It's a good piece of meat to tri-tip.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it.
Okay, well, there we got top sirloin, we got sirloin steak round bone, and sirloin steak flat bone. Okay, that comes from the sirloin at the top, right in front of the rump. All right,
Right.
so then we move underneath the sirloin,
Which is the tenderloin,
the tenderloin.
which
Good
is
Lord.
right by the ribs, right?
So underneath the ribs.
Yeah, there's a nice big long section of really, really good meat. That's where your fillets come from.
Okay.
In the loins.
All right, there's a short loin that's right in front of the sirloin, and then there's a tenderloin underneath both.
Well, that's where the fillet comes from. Your tenderloin is your filet mignon.
Okay, that's what I remember. It's like a
Yeah.
long, it's like almost like a cylinder,
Yeah.
and then you cut it you cut it into steaks, and that's
Right.
what filet mignon is.
So have you ever purchased a whole tenderloin?
I have not purchased one, but Cameron, my brother-in-law, came over one holiday and frickin' brought a huge tenderloin. Yes.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
Well, what did I buy from?
You bought one
Kennedy's?
too. No,
The-
you didn't buy that, but you bought it. Didn't you buy you bought a rib roast or a
Prime rib.
it was it's a big long prime rib roast.
Yeah.
Not a tenderloin, but I've purchased a couple of the
So it's a roast.
you could slice it into steaks.
Well, that's not it. So it's
Yeah,
they're a bunch of prime rib steaks,
not prime rib, but
Oh.
like ribeye, I think.
ribeye. So they're a bunch of ribeye steaks. So where is that between the loin
Yeah,
and the rib?
we haven't got to there yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to thaw.
I
Yeah.
know you were.
So I purchased a couple of fillet, the whole fillet, and I highly recommend if you because sometimes they go on sale at like a Kroger and you get a really great deal. I've got a shit ton of fillet in my freezer downstairs. But you want to get one that's already peeled. Because you have to because there's a what I learned
membrane.
there's a membrane that is very hard to cut through, and it'll affect the quality of the meat. Like if you bite into it, it's going to be chewy.
If
right?
you don't remove the membrane.
So you need to remove the membrane. There's like strips through it, so you need to remove all that. So you're going to lose some meat in the process of doing it.
Yeah, but the idea is that it yields something very
Yeah, it does.
nice.
So it was probably a 10 or 12 pound tenderloin, and I probably had to cut off 1 to 2 pounds of this stuff, just
Right.
trimming it. Right.
Okay, well,
So, but you could argue.
but that's the expectation.
But they also sell I've seen them the pre-peeled or whatever they want to. Or the butcher does it. They're obviously more money because they've done extra work to it.
Right.
So all you have to do with those, then you slice them into your steaks. Right?
Gotcha.
However thick you want. That's what I did. I peeled it and I did all that stuff. And then I sliced like 12 fillets out of it.
Right.
And then I seasoned them and froze them.
Okay, so to recap where we are, the loin area made up of 3 areas: the short loin, the sirloin, and the tenderloin, and it's all the top at the rear, but not all the way at the back. Okay.
Well, this is where you get.
So now we're working from the top of the animal and we're going to the front.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
So this is where you get a lot of your steaks that you're familiar with, right? Like the New York strip, the T-bone, the porterhouse, the filet mignon, those type of steaks.
Yep.
The Kansas City and all that stuff. So the top loin.
It's all loins.
Yeah, it's that looks like the New York strip because the T-bone and the porterhouse is basically a fillet and a New York strip all in one piece.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So
Gotcha.
so the T-bone is a smaller version of the porter. So the porterhouse is just bigger. Is what the difference is, right?
Right.
So it's cut at a different part of the body, so it
Including more of the meat.
it
right?
includes a bigger fillet,
A bigger cut,
and,
yeah.
and a bigger New York strip, right? So it's just cut far. I think either farther up the ribs. I think. So anyway.
Okay, all right. So moving forward on the top, now we have rib.
Yeah,
A lot going on in the rib.
Yeah, now you got the ribs. Of course, you got one of the things I want to try is beef ribs. I haven't cooked beef ribs yet.
Really?
I haven't smoked.
I used to eat them.
I've never had the beef ribs.
Really? I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Now, do they have a short, they always talk about short stack, long rack, or whatever
Well, they have different cuts, right? So they
Baby
have
back.
They have short ribs. Well, they have what they call brontosaurus bones because they're big and there's a ton of meat on them. And basically, when you eat them, it looks like a brisket.
1990, El
The
Paso,
Cincinnati
Texas.
Reds won the last World Series.
They had a restaurant called City Limits, and on Tuesday nights, Tuesday or Mondays, I don't remember, they'd have $1 rib night.
dollar.
And-
So
rib
$1
night.
for one rib.
Pardon me. Yes, including the beef
Oh,
ribs.
the beef ribs. That's a good deal.
And
Were they big though?
they were big. They were big. You could only fit like 4 on a plate because they were long. And they
Yeah.
were, man, it was a great moment.
Oh,
$1
yeah, I
rib night
bet.
at City Limits, $1 rib night.
Yeah, I'd like to get.
all right,
I'd
so-
like to get the big brontosaurus because it's basically a bone with this huge hunk of meat on it.
Yeah,
It
but
looks
I've
like-
never seen that served in a restaurant. The brontosaurus
You'll
rib.
see it at
Well, nice
at
ones.
barbecue joints. You can
Really?
see it at a nice restaurant.
So what you normally see is just a full
Well, they're
rack.
desirable.
What you see in a restaurant is full rack and half rack. And what they're talking
Those
about
are
is just,
pork ribs.
Oh, it's always pork ribs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are pork ribs.
Oh, so they don't have a full rack and a half rack of beef ribs?
No, you usually buy them one at a time because they're so big.
Okay, good to know.
So pull up a
Good to know.
picture of a smoked beef rib, Mr. Producer, so you can kind of see what it looks. It's not like your pork ribs where
Right,
it's
they're
just a little bit of meat.
they're double, triple the size
it's-
of the
it's-
rib
it's-
of pork.
Yeah, it's huge and lots
Okay.
of meat on it. See, look at that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, okay.
That one right
It's
there.
not. It's not that they're very long. They're just really tall.
well,
Like
they're,
they're thick.
well, they're long too. Longer. I mean, they're probably 6 inches.
Well, I mean,
probably.
you just think about it.
Oh
You
wow.
know,
those look
they're
good.
that much larger than a pork than a pig. So you know,
Yeah.
exponentially, they're going to be larger in girth and
Yeah.
length and
God, that looks good.
Yeah, so I want to do that. And there's different cuts because when you start leaving all the meat on the ribs, you can't turn them into ribeye steaks, right? So,
Right.
So they have, as a butcher, you have to choose.
Well, did we already pass the tomahawk?
Tomahawk is a ribeye.
Tomahawk.
Yeah. So
The tomahawk is a ribeye with big ass rib on it. Is what it is.
Oh, okay.
So
Again, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier
But
with
is-
the porterhouse steak. It's just
is that where
it's the same type
we're
of
at?
cut, just
Yeah.
longer, deeper, whatever.
Yeah, it's a big ribeye with it's just a big rib on it. Is all it is.
So right there you go. It's the steak with the bone still on the edge,
Yeah.
and it's a rib that
Yeah.
goes all the way out.
So the tomahawk, I think is a
Tomahawk.
waste of money. It looks impressive, but you're paying for the bone with
And
the
you're
meat.
not going to eat it.
So by the time you cut the meat off, you're basically just eating a ribeye.
Yeah. What a waste.
So they look impressive. I want to cook one because they're usually nice and thick. Because Costco,
Because
has
you
them.
can hold one like a
Yeah, you're like a
chicken
savage.
bone.
Like
No,
a
like a
lollipop.
savage.
Yeah.
like a dude like me.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I
All right, go
definitely
back to the animal.
definitely want to buy some of those and cook them.
All right, so going back to the animal. All right, so we got back ribs, we got
this-
ribeye steak, we got ribeye roast.
Penelope's it's got some vanilla in there.
I know I'm tasting vanilla as well.
Oh yeah, there's a
The
lot of
longer
vanilla
it's
in there.
out, it's kind of like some of these flavors are starting to seep out. So I pulled it
It's
out.
I'm telling you, it's a wonderful bourbon, man.
It is. It's tasty.
I freaking loved it when we were at Rare Books.
Rare bugs.
All right, so rib steak and rib roast.
So Sean, what you got was that big ass rib roast. You could probably get like 7 or 8 ribeyes out of it, depending on how thick you.
No
cut 'em.
shit. Well, yeah, you just cut them.
Dude, they're huge. If I were
You still have it, or you sit in your freezer?
we just bought it.
Whoa.
Well, you have to go with us next
we
time we
went
go down to
to-
Kennedy.
When
Okay,
you were
well, I've never been invited.
when you were
Well,
in
you
when you
were,
were in Colorado,
But you were like
I was
gallivanting
hunting,
around.
I was hunting elk.
Fuck.
do you
Anyway, so
want
we
me to
went down
do?
there. This thing,
I'm
the-
trying to
skip it.
feed my family.
the
Skip it. With
the
40 pounds of elk?
ribeye roast that I
Oh,
got
yeah.
is probably almost 20 inches long.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It is super long.
But it's like thick, very round. Like
it,
Oh, it's like that.
I was
right?
going to
But
say, it's got to
thick.
be
Yeah.
really thick.
it was I think it was just under $10 a pound, and it was probably $110 piece of meat,
Wow.
and that was like discounted.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah,
the-
that's
but
how much you spent?
Well, I mean,
But
I
the key
spent a lot more
is-
than that. But I mean, that's how much I spent on that one particular piece of meat.
But the key is that was freshly butchered
Don't tell Tara.
from local cows, right? So it's fresh. It's extremely
Well,
fresh.
now that I have this floor freezer, I'm tempted to find out how much. You know, how you talk about getting half a cow,
Yeah.
right?
we got a quarter cow. And
Well,
I mean, yeah, you-
the thing about buying
I would
that,
love to go in with like
you have to be
you two.
You have
and-
to eat it though. I mean,
Well,
I mean, look, from me
we-
on the outside looking at your family is very finicky.
finicky. We eat nothing but beef, like way too much beef, all the
right,
time,
Well, I'm just saying.
and usually hamburger, like red meat. We eat way too much red meat.
Oh, this is a good
Oh,
one.
we're-
it's
so
just
we're a
because of
perfect
the
candidate.
salmon stuff.
Oh, this is a really good one.
What?
Well, it just breaks it down a little bit more.
It breaks it down to what people are familiar with on a plate. Meaning, here, go down to the far
That's
right.
exactly what I'm looking at.
Go down to the far right. Okay, so here's other. What's other?
Kebabs.
I got kebabs, strips, cubed steak,
Kebabs.
stew meat, shank cross-cut, ground beef, and ground beef patties. Where does that come from? Show me where other
Well,
is
ground
on the
beef.
animal.
Probably
Ground
the
beef is all the
Off-cut
cough
of
cuts.
everything. So when you
Right.
get all these little tiny little cuts that fall on the table, they're
So when they
like,
get done
"Ugh."
cutting up the sirloin and the loin and the
There's
this
a lot of
and the
meat
that,
left over,
there's a ton
Yeah.
of meat left over.
and they make
And they
this
grind
stuff.
that shit up and they make ground beef.
They
Correct.
try to categorize.
So ground
or
beef from
separate
everywhere.
the fat.
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and
sometimes
that's
you'll
where your
see-
bologna may come from too. Right?
Sometimes you'll see ground chuck. So
Okay.
it's from the chuck region, but typical hamburgers
Meaning
are,
it's not the leftover.
Right.
You know how they always say about hot dogs are the lips and assholes of pigs,
right.
right? So when you get ground chuck, it's not the lips and assholes of a cow. It is.
It's from the chuck
It
region.
literally is a roast that is ground up.
Then you also see ground
chuck
you'll
roast
see
that's
ground
ground up.
sirloin every now and then, Like usually in the restaurant, I use like a ground sirloin burger,
Oh yeah.
right? So you'll see that as well. It's just where they get it. But
Meaning it's again not lips and assholes.
well, hamburgers not lips and assholes. It's all the leftover stuff. When they cut all these steaks out, there's still a lot of meat in
And
there,
it doesn't mean it's bad.
and they trim the shit out of it and make hamburger out of it.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean it's
No.
nasty meat or if it's
No.
whatever.
No.
No.
Okay. So other stew meat, cubed steak, strips, kebabs, and ground beef. That's the
Yeah.
other.
Well, I highly
all
recommend
right.
to watch the Bearded Butchers an hour, and they completely cut up a cow, and they show you
Start-
exactly
start
where
to
these
It's kind of
things are.
cool. They do, and they go through everything.
They
And they
tell you
got
where-
cool tools too.
It's extremely sharp.
It's
knives.
all about the tools, man.
It's
Yeah.
extremely sharp, and he wears chainmail.
So that's one.
He does.
Well, that's cool too. But
You know-
that's one thing I learned when we were out in the field, field dressing the elk. It was
Yeah.
all about the tools.
Yeah.
Like one guy was trying to do something, and Jerry stepped in and was like, "Listen, hey, I'm not trying to take over what you're doing, but I've got this tool." And they're like, "Okay, well, yeah, cool." And it was like, zip. You know what I mean? Like when we were.
Right.
I mean, it's all about the tools,
It
guys.
is.
I mean,
You
we
know,
already know that.
Well, you
right?
guys going out to Colorado, and you were talking about the RV and having a blast, and the generator bogging down. And I had an experience this past week, right around after Thanksgiving, this past weekend,
Yeah.
where my brother-in-law invited me. It wasn't like an invite. Hey, come. He was like, "Hey, I need to go pick up my RV and bring it to the lake because we're gonna spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday ish out there."
Did you
Right.
spoon?
And it's brand new. So hold on, a little
It's
context.
brand new.
He just bought it.
He
He
just
wants
bought
to
it.
take it out
Well,
to
he
the lake
had-
to make sure
he
it's
had
all
a
set
smaller
up.
one. He had a smaller one, and
okay.
he just it gave it to. Well, it was absorbed into his business, and somebody else is using it somewhere. Whatever. So he went
Okay.
and took that, and he bought a new one. And this one is, I don't know exactly how long it is. He may have told me. I forgot. I think 27, 30 foot, something like that. It's a big boy. It's
I think it's bigger. It's 30 plus.
well.
Yeah.
Of
it's
all
a
the
big one.
research I've done, it's 30 plus. But anyway, keep going.
It was nice. We went to.
It looked really nice.
You know, he's got a big truck. We rolled in with his big truck, and the technology makes it so much easier when you're backing up with this truck and you got cameras. This was a fifth wheel, and there's a camera on the fifth wheel so that when you're backing up, you see
A
exactly
camera in the bed of the truck.
that it's in the fifth wheel.
Oh my
So that when you're
God.
loading, there's a dot and it's got a little line, and it's like you're backing up and you got a doll. It's like a game
Well, that's
at
a
that point.
really expensive truck,
So he just basically you back it up, and then once you get to that point, they're like deet deet done.
and it goes.
We went in
now
the back.
connecting fifth wheel.
Well, we went in the back, and then he opened up a compartment on the trailer, and the trailer lowered electronically
Right.
onto the fifth wheel,
Right.
and then the hubs that were holding the tracks that were holding it up, it went straight up into the belly of it, and
All
Man.
automatically.
yeah, pushed a button, shit went up. We locked it into place to make sure it would stay there. Took
Oh wow.
the wheel. What are those things? The jacks, the wheel things that keep them from moving. What do they call those?
The stabilizer.
The boot,
You're talking about on the bottom of
like
the
a wheel
RV.
wedge, like a
Whatever.
wheel wedge.
Yeah,
right?
they're wedge. That's not what they're called, but it's
It's a wheel wedge. Say that 10
No, the
times fast.
stabilizer. You're talking about the things that you lower down to the
it's
ground.
just fucking. It's a wheel wedge.
I don't think he made that face.
No, I didn't. The Elvis face.
Oh well. Anyways, there's a different name for it, but it doesn't matter. It's a chuck, I think, is what it's called. But
Okay.
So, anyways,
Chuck
you
roast?
remove those things, and we drove off, and then we get to the place, and it's nighttime now, and we back it up. You hook utilities up to it. It's so easy to do. You go to these places, these parks, state parks,
Oh yeah.
and it's plug in.
Did you have to empty the gray water?
We never got to that point because we're arriving. Gray water usually happens after your
So you
visit.
didn't like Duke all over at his bathroom?
Well, I did
Oh.
urinate, but we could talk about that in just a moment. I'm getting there. So the
He's
well,
getting
first,
to his urination.
Great.
It's
That's the high
impressive.
point.
Can't wait.
It's impressive. This thing is impressive. I'm telling you, for guys, for anybody, it's
Yeah.
impressive.
Really
it
nice.
had a 3-seater couch. It had a
Three
side
of
by
us, or
side
like three
theater
small
style
people?
seating with a center console that
Yeah.
was perpendicular to it, facing the big screen TV. When I say big, this was a 50-inch TV.
Yeah.
You know, it
Nice.
had a ceiling fan in the center. It
Yeah,
had
this is what most
three-
people don't have.
it
Like
had
if they get an
three-
RV, they don't have all this bullshit on
it
it.
had 3 stations that widened
Yeah, they're
uh,
called slides.
slides. There are 3 slide areas. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. So the and basically it was the living room / kitchen. Both those areas kind of pushed
Moved
out
out.
another about 3 foot either side. Huge. And then the master bedroom up or the bedroom up top that
So
opened
I've never
up.
seen the slides go out. So you just push a button and it's like
It's automatic. It's like beep 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 beep. No, there's no. It's not pneumatic.
Okay.
It's like air brakes.
It's totally electronic.
That's cool though.
It is very cool, and it had a fireplace that was electrical.
Oh my god.
You know,
So is he going to let us take us to Choctaw? Hey, let me use it.
Anywhere. Who cares where we go? We can go to
Loverboy.
We go to
you got to
Prosper.
be able to pull it though.
Yeah, we don't have a vehicle that will pull that thing.
He's got a truck.
borrow.
Hey, can I borrow your truck?
Well,
And
we can
It's
invite
a
your
him.
fifth
RV?
wheel. Of course
We
we
can
have to
invite
borrow
him.
his truck.
We can invite him.
Oh. We can't just take the truck and the RV without him? Really?
Not
Of
something.
course.
Not
Of
something that
course we're going to
expensive.
invite him.
Wow.
What kind of comment is that?
Well, I mean, I snore.
We want him there. We
I'm
have no idea how to
thinking-
work the thing.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the sleep accommodations because, you know,
We'd all be outside.
Hold
Sean
on,
would be inside.
you sleep with him on the queen,
no,
and
I'll
Jeff's
bring
on
my.
his
I'll,
bed,
I'll
and
bring
I'm
my. I'll bring
on
my
one.
air mattress.
Yeah.
I'm good.
There we go.
well,
close the door
it's got
so-
it has a
A big floor.
2 queens. It's got 2 queen beds in there.
Well,
So-
one for you and him.
No, one's his
One's-
bedroom. He's got his bedroom, and then there's the rest of us.
Well, you need to put.
So
you
we
in
have a
there
You're
queen-
so you
saying
close
you're
the
saying
door.
there's
I like your
3
idea.
beds?
No. Stop. Time. Back the fuck up.
Wow.
He's got 2 queens. So the couch pulls out to a queen.
Yes.
All right. There's a bedroom that has a queen.
Yes.
All right. That's where he's going to go. The other queen, 2 of us will go, and Jeff has already nominated himself to sleep on the floor.
Yeah, you can
I'm
ta-
not
you,
sleeping with you on the queen.
you can take the ears out.
Why
You
not?
won't hear them.
What the hell? Are you going to have a CPAP machine?
I'm going to wear a chastity belt. I can tell you that.
Oh, really?
I'm
Paul's
not
gonna have
waking
the-
up with
he's
a
gonna have the
condom in my
key.
butt.
Your safety dome?
Paul is like trying to pick it in the middle of the night.
Whatever. I'm not going unless you get a CPAP machine. My God.
There's no way. What you just take your hearing aids out? What the hell?
I still heard it.
You did not.
Actually, when I put my hearing aids in, it was horrific. When I had my hearing aids out, it was just fine.
Yeah.
But I did. I put my hearing aids on because my father-in-law called me, and I was like, "I'm sorry. Hold on one second. What is that noise?"
I'm down there on the floor with
My
the pillow over my head.
God, it was awful. You need a CPAP machine. I can promise you.
Oh, well,
You're the poster boy of needing one.
well.
I
God.
sleep with one. It's great.
Yeah, you fought it for the first couple nights, though, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. I thought I was being.
So if you roll over onto
I thought I
your
was
face,
being-
what happens?
I thought it was like, you know how in Aliens when the thing it smacks onto their face
It, like shoves a
and
tube
it
down
shoves
their throat?
a tube down their throat. I thought I was being attacked in Alien, but it's awesome. No,
It's
I tell you-
actually phallic because it lays an egg in them.
okay. Well, the CPAP machine doesn't do that,
You know.
but the Alien does. Yeah,
If you think about it,
Does it?
was Yeah, that's where the alien.
yeah.
They impregnate the guy.
But through the mouth?
Yeah, it attaches to his mouth. And they,
Remember
and it
the
shoves a-
alien comes through the stomach.
I just thought it seeped in there somehow. I never realized it entered
No,
through the
it-
mouth.
Yeah.
It stuck a seed down into the stomach.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not what a CPAP machine does, but it helps you sleep better. It really does. All right, we digress. Anyway, so very nice RV. We definitely need to check that out,
I definitely need a CPAP machine because
and you
Yeah.
definitely need one.
Well, it requires you to go to the doctor.
You do.
no,
Well, hold on. So
I don't. I just fucking go buy one.
good question. Can you?
I don't know.
Why not?
I'm sure they're very
I
expensive.
can do whatever the hell I
Well,
want.
the ResMed. I have ResMed. It's not cheap, and I'm sure
and you have
Oh,
insurance.
it's simply.
Yeah, but what does that mean
yeah,
when you say
simply
it's not cheap? What is that? What is that? Like a 500, 1,000,
Well,
2,000?
I think it was $50 a month for a year, maybe.
Hold on, you got to pay a monthly fee for this. Why can't you just pay for it?
Well, I mean, I think they structure it so that it's not so difficult for people.
They structure it so they can rip off people.
Well, I'm
Well,
I'm
that too. They
sure
wanna
that
make
too,
money.
of course.
It's all about making money.
Everybody's in it to win it.
All right, so you're on a monthly list.
Okay,
So,
this is called ResMed, ResMed. It's a very impressive machine. Yeah, get rid of all that and put in ResMed. All right, there we go. All right, that's it. That's it. Now, I don't know if you can just go out and buy it, but it's very impressive.
You hook your phone up to it.
You can hook. Why would you hook up your
I
phone
don't know.
to
I just saw a picture with an app.
it? Okay, well, no, it has an app. Yeah, it has an app. Oh, and I don't even know how the ResMed is not connected to my internet.
they're about $1,000.
There you
There's
go.
one for 4,400.
What?
All right, he's showing it.
Well, that's a hell of a deal right there.
1,700.
That's a 10s though. Jeez, who's
Yeah,
gonna get the 10s?
that's mine right there. Mine's $1,000. Yep, what you're looking at right there. Anyway, so it's really impressive, man. I mean, I tell you what, it helps you sleep.
So,
And I'll be damned if this thing knows it. It's pretty smart technology because I will put this thing on, and I don't push any buttons or anything. I just start breathing, and the machine turns on. So it knows it's measuring airflow.
Right. Don't
Based
you have
on
to clean it quite a bit? Does it get all bacteria and
no,
fungally?
I mean, you know,
and
I have cleaned it multiple times where I just kind of run it under super hot water and maybe run some soapy water through it. But I mean, I've never looked at it and gone, "Oh God, this is nasty. I need to clean it."
well, yeah, but after a year of using it, maybe.
Yeah, you would think
Because I
so.
know they have. You can get sick if you don't clean it. There's people that you can
But-
get sick
but
because you start inhaling
walk
all
me
that.
through
Maybe,
the
maybe.
process. You were starting.
Maybe.
You put it on, so you start breathing. So does this thing like pressurize?
So what it does is it forces air through the tube, and the whole point is having something over your nose, whether it's like tubes that go up into your nostrils, which I was not a big fan of. I said no, thank you.
So
And I did the full. They have a full nose mask, and then they have a full face mask. But the idea is a tube is forcing air through your nose and forcing you to breathe through your nose. When it forces air into your nose, it makes you go. It makes you breathe. That the whole sleep apnea is when you stop breathing. Right?
And you do.
Yeah, you stop breathing,
Like
and
for
then
minutes.
yes, when you stop breathing, your body like
I do.
Yes.
yes,
Bad.
bad, very bad. And then when you come out of that, like you stop breathing for 10, 15 seconds, your body goes like you're gasping.
Yeah.
And it comes through your nose and your mouth. You sound awful. I mean, not you, just people in general. And it's awful, right? And then the bottom line is it's affecting your sleep. It's affecting your sleep. You may not know it, but you wake up exhausted, not well rested. And so the idea of this is it's forcing air through your nose. It's forcing you to breathe continuously, right? Nice, smooth, deep breaths, right? Where you're getting plenty of oxygen. And the idea is you're getting great sleep. And I'll be damned if it works.
So the ResMed that you have, is it like a air curve?
It's the one that he's currently got his cursor on right there.
The black one.
Yep. the
So
black
you
one.
have the nose one right there?
So
that
it's
the
a
lady
ResMed
has?
AirSense 10.
I've got the one all the way on the left at the top.
Yeah, the lady.
The lady. That's exactly what I
Is
have.
it as sexy as it looks?
Well, that's what was funny. So I was wearing
Tony
that.
in Tokyo does. Red
Yeah.
Leader.
I was wearing that, and Shelly had her mouthpiece in, and we both like turned over and looked at each other, and we were like,
Busted out laughing.
"We've never been more turned on." Like it was the most sexually charged moment we've ever had.
So you just ripped it off?
We literally staring at each other, and we're like, busted. Like when you say busted out laughing,
Yeah.
we howled with laughter. We're like, "This is real. This
Yeah.
is where we are."
This is. We're
I'm
old.
wearing some sort of freaking psycho, face apparatus, and she's like, with her. Oh, it was
She's
awful.
drooling.
Oh, it was. Oh yeah, when she takes it out, she's like, and she puts it in her little case
What's
on
a
the nightstand, and I'm
retainer?
like, "Oh, yeah, it's a mouthpiece. It keeps her from grinding her teeth."
Yeah.
And so she pulls it out and is like, and she sticks it in her little case. I mean, I'm telling you, this is real. Like this is old people stuff, right?
Yeah.
And here I am going, "Hey, honey."
So what happens if you get a cold and you can't breathe through your nose? You just go without it?
So that hasn't happened yet. So I'll have to get back to you on that.
Because
But
there's going to come a time where your nose just gets jammed, swollen.
I would imagine you can't wear it. Yeah, I would imagine you can't wear it, or maybe
I don't know. Maybe I
yeah.
think with that forced air, I think
Maybe
maybe
it helps.
It helps clear everything
Maybe.
up.
I don't know.
yeah, it might. Anyway, Sean, I could not recommend it more. You absolutely need it. Well, first off, people die from sleep apnea.
Yeah, just go to the doctor and
They
say, I've
literally
got
they
sleep
literally die
apnea.
in their sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure how that works. So you stop breathing, and then your body just doesn't revive
It
you.
just doesn't
Well, your heart
kick back in.
stops.
Like you
One of these times
so
you
you
just don't.
literally die of like a heart attack, or
I
you
guess, or
suffocate.
just suffocate.
That's incredible.
Yeah. One of
It's
these
incredible
times,
that
one of
the
these
human
times,
body could even do that.
you just don't start breathing again.
Well,
You stop and you're done.
It's a very real thing.
Well, there's been more than once where I've had to I've woken up and I'll be like, Jesus, what the fuck's going on? There's
Yes.
one time I was in California with you, wherever we went, and
It's Tahoe. Yeah.
Lake Tahoe, and I was in the bedroom and I had heartburn, and I had acid reflux that came up in the middle of the night. So imagine not breathing,
Right.
acid reflux comes
Yeah,
in.
double whammy
Dude,
right there.
I had to stand up. Talk about being asleep, and now I'm in fight mode.
right.
I mean, I had
Were you just choking and everything?
dude. I jumped up out of bed.
But you can't breathe.
Fucking spit bile out of my mouth and started breathing, gasping for air. That was crazy. You know, that's why I bring all those extra pills and I shove them up so I can like sleep incline. But
Inclined, yeah.
you know, the doctor
So-
says one the biggest thing for me to do is just lose some freaking weight.
Well,
but
that's-
you know,
Until then, you need to
it's-
protect yourself with the CPAP machine.
it's a battle. Well,
So
you
I
know
will
what?
tell you. So I didn't take my
$1,000 is
CPAP.
palatable.
I didn't take my CPAP machine to Colorado, right? And I was up for a full over a week, right? And first several nights, yeah, I was like waking up going, you know what I mean? My sleep apnea just started kicking back in,
Right.
and it scared me. I was like, what the hell's going on? Kind of like what you were describing. It's like gasping for air, and I was like, I don't have my CPAP machine. That's why.
Right.
Interesting. So I'm wondering, like with most things that you do to your body for a crutch, your body becomes dependent on it. And I
Like,
wonder,
could you ever stop using it?
yeah,
No, I don't think it made it worse. I think it made my body aware of it. Like before the CPAP machine, I think I was just
Well, what's causing your
I
sleep
didn't-
apnea? Do you have something that you could have surgery and be done with it?
I don't know.
Because
I don't think so.
Because Brandon had sleep apnea when he was a kid, but his adenoids they're normally the size of a pea. His were the size of a walnut.
So they were literally blocking airflow.
So he would and he would snore really loud, and he would have sleep apnea.
So I had
we had
mine,
him removed, and he's been fine.
Well, I've had mine removed since I was a little kid. So
your adenoids,
my adenoids,
right?
my tonsils.
There could be
right?
something
That's
else
what you're
in
talking
there.
about.
No,
Tonsils.
no.
Oh,
There's-
those are different.
Adenoids are in your nose, like on the back of your nose.
Oh,
And
cool.
they're
So
little-
you can have that removed.
Oh yeah,
Maybe I should get all that shit removed.
yeah. Go in there and look at it. You may have these monster ones like Brandon did, and he cut them out, and he's been fine ever since.
Well, I went to the ear, nose, throat doctor, and the first thing I did is open my mouth.
and they didn't say anything about your adenoids.
Dude, well, he opened my mouth and he was like, "I bet you snore really loud."
Okay, what was that based on?
I don't know, but he said
He didn't tell you why he thought that?
no. I went there I don't forget why I went there, sore throat or something, and no, that's just what he said. I bet you really snore loud. I said yes, I do, and he never really commented. Because I wasn't there for that.
Still, I that's disappointing. He should have said something about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a decade ago.
yeah. There's surgeries you can have.
Well, I would get the CPAP machine before I did surgery. That's what I would personally do.
Well,
But
there
it
are some
does it
people,
does depends, right? It depends on.
There are
I
some
would have an
people
expert look at
that
you.
have
Well,
had the
fix it.
surgery.
Yeah, fix the problem.
And the
Yeah, you're right.
problem still comes back. So it's just like, well, there's a surgery where they remove the layers of the skin back there that reverberate, that
Right.
causes snoring.
Soft palate, I
and-
think they call it, right?
They cut that stuff away, and first of all, it's a painful experience, and it comes back. So it's only a temporary fix. I mean, it may
Yeah,
take
no,
people
I'm-
years. It may take people months.
I'm always in favor of trying other things before surgery. So, I mean, I do know that people who snore, yeah, there are elective surgeries for that. But like I said, personally, I would try the CPAP machine before I tried surgery. But and if that doesn't do the trick, then there's more things you can do, right? So
Well, it's one of these things where you're like, am I going to be on the CPAP the rest of my life?
I'm expecting that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or can I have a surgery and not be uncomfortable for a week, 2 weeks?
No,
be
that's a
done
good
with it?
point. That's a good point. No, I'm fully expecting to be on the CPAP machine the rest of my life.
So you have no desire to have go in there and go, oh, we could pull this out and you'll be good.
Not really. I mean, now that I've gotten used to it, it's kind of. I mean, other than being incredibly sexy for my
Right.
wife, and it's hard to fight her off when I'm wearing it.
You let her wear it?
I
God.
haven't thought of that. Whoa, that takes it to a whole new level. Honey, wear my CPAP machine tonight.
And
She's
that's
gonna be like,
it.
No, you're too rough with me when you do that. Wait, hold on. I played this out too far, didn't I?
Yes.
Is
you
that
did.
because she asphyxiates?
You're choking me.
Right. I'm sure
Anyway.
there's some fetish out there that does that.
A CPAP fetish.
There's a stupidest fetishes out there. I
There
wouldn't doubt
is
it.
They got
every
all kinds
fetish
of
you
stupid
can think
shit.
of, and we don't have to talk about fetishes tonight. All right. So,
Oh. Why?
well, I'm just saying we don't.
Are
have to-
you alarmed
we
that
don't
we
have
may
to-
discuss a certain topic that you?
Do I have a fetish?
You tell me. I heard you did.
Mm.
Do I have a
Oh.
fetish?
Well, it turns out that you might.
I think we all have certain preferences. I don't know if we would call them fetishes.
Well,
Like there are people that like love to suck toes. I'm like, no, thank you.
I'm sorry I scratched the surface on this.
You started it.
You did. What's your fetish, Sean?
Oh, I don't have one.
Oh,
Farts.
I'm thankful just to have.
I like
I'm-
to fart in my partner's mouth.
I'm thankful just to
Oh,
have sex.
What?
That's terrible.
What'd you say?
I'm thankful just to have sex.
That's your fetish to have
Yeah.
sex.
Well, fetishes are with inanimate objects.
Not
No,
necessarily.
no,
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 they're not.
no. There's like a broad range of fetish. Like I
Yeah.
just said, sucking toes.
Like
That's a
S&M.
fetish.
That's a fetish.
S&M.
100%.
Feet. That's a fetish.
There are people who like to lick navels. There are people who like to. I mean, there's a million. Any fetish you can think of exists. Like you were saying
Golden
earlier.
shower. That's a fetish.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Yep. Pooping and shitting in your partner's mouth. That's
Two
a
girls,
fetish.
one cup. Fetish.
I don't think that's a thing.
It is a thing.
It is.
No,
a
I don't
thing.
think they have a partner that actually. Who's going to have a partner after you shit in their mouth? They're going to be like, yeah.
One that wants you to shit in their mouth.
No, that's disgusting.
I'm telling you, that's a real thing.
It is.
What is it called when someone poops on glass on your faces under the glass?
What?
I
I don't.
So
Don't
you're staring
know.
at it and it like falls down on you.
No, there are people. Well, they don't have glass.
I thought that's what it was. I didn't think. You know what? Enough with this two girls, one cup thing.
Again, you brought it up.
Two chick. What?
You
Yes.
You were talking about fetishes.
did.
No, you're like, Paul, what's your fetish?
Yeah, you did.
But I didn't bring up this.
Yeah, you did. Very awkward. This may be the worst podcast ever. Okay, so listen.
So
So,
what's-
so
what-
the
what kind of-
natural.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
no,
please.
I wanted to like keep beating that drum.
No, we're not going to beat the fetish drum.
Maybe that'll be a topic for a future podcast. We'll have to do our research.
What are you looking at?
explain that to your
honey,
wife.
Honey, I'm doing
I'm
research
really getting
for the,
turned on looking at this
Yeah.
lava lamp.
Honey, I'm doing research
Looks
for
like
the
a sit and
podcast.
spin.
Right.
I'm not looking at porn. I'm doing research.
I'm not watching her smash a hamster.
What?
What
That's another thing.
Smash a hamster?
Yeah, some I guess
is that?
guys,
What it goes in your butt and then
No.
they smash it?
no, that's
Like
where,
a real hamster?
Yeah, where women will wear the high heels and then stomp on gerbils and hamsters and stuff.
How is that sexual?
I
That's
don't
just-
know.
That's just evil.
I know.
I mean, if it's squirrels, I'm on board. Which, by the way,
So-
squirrels are back in my attic.
Are they?
Hold on.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So
And I plan to
where have you
smash
seen
them.
that?
Huh?
Have you seen that before?
Yeah, why
I've
would
seen
they-
it. I've seen it in the magazines.
Why would you know this fetish?
Because I've seen it in the magazines that my roommate would get.
Yep.
Which is
Your wife. Your wife is your
No,
roommate.
this is before I was married.
weird
Oh, well, you need to
fetishes.
clarify.
In the back of all those books, you had all the ads and stuff, crazy stuff, right? So
Did you
see
not
these-
vet your roommates before they fucking moved in?
Well, it's normal porn mags. Well, you didn't have internet back
At the
then.
so at the back of porn mags, they have weird fetish stuff.
Well, they have different ads and buy this video and shit
If you like
that.
smashing hamsters,
And there's some lady.
press
That-
one.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's really sick.
I
Yeah.
think the PETA would probably be upset about that.
Do you think that Richard Gere thing was real?
I don't know.
The
It's
whole
a thing.
gerbil thing.
Well,
It's a thing.
there was also the whole Rod Stewart had a gallon of spooge in his stomach too. That went around
Hold on.
That's
What?
total bullshit.
Spooge in a stomach. What is that?
because he
What?
had
Swallowed
so
spooge.
much sperm that he had to go.
I think that's
Rod Stewart's gay?
No, that was the rumor back when I was growing
see.
up.
These are all stupid rumors.
And the Richard Gere
Richard
thing.
Gere gerbil
Rod-
thing. That was a rumor.
All right. Well, hold on.
How does it start?
Mr.
though?
Producer, see if that's
How did
real.
that
Richard
start?
Gere and gerbil.
I don't know. I don't know how it started because
These
I heard
are
it when
all
I was growing up.
stupid ass rumors. I guarantee they're not
I
real.
don't know. That one seemed like it had some validity to it because
Why?
I don't know because
Based on what?
because how popular it was.
It was a really popular rumor. I think everybody's heard about the Richard Gere gerbil.
Yeah.
Are you not going to look it up for us, Mr. Producer? Oh, he's doing it very reluctantly. I don't blame him. Because what if we see really scary pictures after this?
All right. Well, the definitive history. See, they got a highly questionable cultural history of Richard Gere's ass gerbil. So they
Yeah,
show a
very
picture of
questionable.
this tube and the mouse
gerbil coming out of it.
Yeah, there is a gerbil coming out of it.
right.
There was just Gere's
Well, the
face in the
rumor
background.
has endured for decades, becoming as deeply embedded in pop culture as that alleged gerbil itself. Who would have thought Gere himself would come out of it looking so enlightened? Of course, this.
Did he come out and comment on it?
Well,
That would be hilarious.
I don't know.
the
That's
story.
what you were about to say.
Well, the story's like this: Richard Gere once got a gerbil stuck up his ass. All right. So
Well,
that's
maybe
the
it was
story.
an accident.
Richard Gere once got a gerbil stuck up his ass and then had to go to the ER to get it removed.
Maybe
and,
he was sleeping.
and that's it. That's the end of the story. Yet the single sentence narrative has somehow endured the test of time for decades, like some
So
ancient
there's no-
folklore.
So there's no evidence. It's just somebody reported it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would be the evidence? There would be like a hospital, like a what do you call it? A sheet, the sheet that they put on the
an
end of the
X-ray.
bed. Oh, even better.
Oh well, first you got to establish whether gerbling is apparently is it called gerbling?
Gerbling.
No.
All right, so I will tell you this: something that is undeniable, like factually based, the stuff that emergency rooms see.
Gerbling.
You know what? The emergency rooms have to extract things all the time.
Oh yeah, crazy stuff too.
Right, stuff they have to extract things from the anus and rectum.
Rubik's cubes.
Rubik's cube?
How can you get a?
How would that feel good?
I don't know.
Tell me how that would feel good. That's
I
a
don't know.
square.
It's a cube with corners.
I mean, at least do something round. Why do a square? My God,
Well, there's like
it makes no sense at all.
well there's like my God,
Honey, you want to stick a Rubik's cube up my ass?
What'd you pull up?
Okay, we're not. Okay, we need to move on. Well, why did we
It's
get?
even blocked?
Now we got.
It won't even show it. It's blocked.
You need to put in your birthday to see that website.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, what's
So
Okay,
in St.
okay.
Petersburg, Russia, the surgeon extracted a massive dildo out of that thing is
Looks like a baby.
Yeah,
it's like 6 inches in diameter.
yeah.
More than that.
Well, I mean, that's like the rumors of, women that want to get it on with horses and mules and stuff like that. That's what we're talking about, right? All right. What? Anyway, so we had a great topic earlier tonight where we were talking about the cuts of beef.
Well, this one
and
sore.
hold on. No, I'm not
Going
letting
south.
you. Yeah, I'm not letting you go there. I think the next natural thing to go to is how to cook it.
What?
All these cuts that we've been talking about, how to cut them. I mean, how to cook them. And I know that
You
could
talking
go.
about spices?
We could well,
No. Well, you can spice it however you want.
not so much spices, but just like different types of grills, right? And we can save this for the next segment. But
yeah, let's do that because we'll have to go into it because there's all kinds of grills out
Yeah,
there.
there's
Well,
different.
we got 15 minutes. I mean, we can like
Well, let's
branch
tease
out.
it. Right, let's tease it. Right. So your standard grill is charcoal.
I like the charcoal
Back
grill.
in the
Oh.
day, right? Yeah, okay, but it takes forever, right?
To
It
get
takes
going,
forever,
yeah.
but it gives it a fantastic flavor.
Yep.
Now you can't really control. It's hard to control.
Yes, you have to pay attention to it.
Right. You got height you got to deal with, and usually with the really cheapy, they're all really cheapy grills.
Well, I've got
You don't have a lot of
the green
options
egg.
with how high you can make it, how low you can make it. Right. If you want to sear it, you got to get it really
real
close
men
to the.
don't have a charcoal grill anymore.
That's not true.
I have a charcoal grill.
That's absolutely not true. The purists who really want that charcoal, perfectly flavored steak.
Hold
I think
on.
stuff
let
tastes
me let me
better.
clarify this.
Absolutely.
Let me clarify this.
Absolutely.
Because even I have a charcoal grill, but that's not my point. My point is that well, if you just want to cook something, you
Right.
just put it on charcoal with the flavor, of course. Otherwise
Right.
you want to try to control that temperature.
Of course.
So you're saying with the charcoal grill to control that temperature, you need to go up and down.
Well, and you have very limited options on how to control that temperature, right?
Yeah, because you have no control over the airflow that's coming into
Exactly.
the thing.
Well, you do if you have one of those domes and you control the air, just
You
like
can.
your egg, right? So you
Yeah.
can control it that way. so-
Remember, forever and ever and ever, that's all people had.
Oh yeah.
Before propane tanks,
Yeah.
that's all they had.
That's all I had growing
And people
up.
grilled for decades on that. So it does the job.
Oh yeah, it does
And
it
it
good.
tastes great, and it provides great
I
flavor.
think it tastes better
There's nothing
than a
wrong
gas
with it.
grill.
Now, the
tastes better.
problem is,
On a gas grill?
It tastes better on a charcoal.
Yeah.
absolutely, I would agree with that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Now, here's
it's
the
also
thing.
what type of briquettes you use too. If you use like
That-
the real charcoal, and
Yeah.
sometimes if you get that, you can get some real bad charcoal
You can
out
get
there.
some cheap
That-
briquettes out there.
That, and it takes 45 minutes to an hour to get those briskets. But get the charcoal brisket
No, it
perfect.
doesn't.
Well, it can,
can.
but it's part of
It can.
planning. So some
Why?
of those,
How long do you say it takes?
some of the better tasting charcoals does take a little bit longer.
It does. But,
But-
at my charcoal grill, I don't use the lump coal that he uses. That would take a very long time.
lump
Yeah.
coal.
Well, I use like the real charcoal, the wood briquette charcoals
Right.
that you buy.
What I
Right,
use,
right,
what I
right.
use is it's that broken into pieces and then formed into
compressed,
little, and then compressed, so it doesn't take as
They
long,
break apart faster.
and then it heats faster, right?
Well,
so it's those big
Okay.
pieces.
Okay. Well, I rarely buy briquettes other than your standard charcoal briquettes, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, I found a process on how to start a charcoal grill that works for me. And because my son got me a green egg. So to start it, I think the original thing I bought was this heating element that you plug into the wall, which is a glorified fucking hair dryer, which I spent almost $100, if not more. And I'm
Piece of shit.
extremely disappointed with the green egg
Did you return
purchase. No, it broke. And
No.
the
then
green egg?
the heating element
Oh.
to put it's this wand you put in there, and you got to hold the button. It'd be different if you could like fucking walk away. No, but you got to
just
sit there and
stand
hold it.
there?
Oh, it's ridiculous. So, anyways, and then I went and I bought these little pieces
Fire
of
starters.
clumps, fire star stuff. You light it, you set it in there, and you walk away. And stuff. And those work great.
So hold on. You're not talking about the green egg. You're talking about charcoal
I'm
grills.
talking about.
That's what you use.
I'm
in the
talking
green
about
egg.
charcoal. Yeah, that's what I use in my green egg to try to
Ah.
get the fire started, regardless
I
what
got you.
type of grill it is.
I got you.
It's how to get the fire started.
Okay.
So, but what I've done lately, so I went to the fire starter where you buy them online, buy them at the store, whatever. You light them up and put them in the middle of the charcoal. Then you walk away, and about 10, 15 minutes, you got some shit going on. Well, what I do is, I saw this on a YouTube. I don't know, spamming it while I'm working, and I've got, I just let it play in the background, and I was watching these guys camp, and they went out, they set up their tent, they set up this furnace, and they had some logs and all that. He took out a little bag of Doritos, a little lunch portioning bag of Doritos. You know the mini bags you get,
Yeah,
like
sure.
a little box, and he opens it up. He puts a Dorito chip
One chip.
and starts the fucking fire with a Dorito chip. That's how much oil is on that Dorito chip.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
It works.
So that's what
It
I've been
works.
doing.
A Dorito chip.
I go to my pantry.
One
and-
Dorito chip.
Well, no, I mean I do
It
more
could be
than that.
corn. It could be a corn chip too. It doesn't have to be a Dorito.
But what I do is I go in
And you
my
light that
pantry
on fire.
Correct.
and I find whatever bag of chips that is
No way.
the just the remnants in there, and I go in there and dump it in there. Like if it's a bunch of crumbs, dude, you will be shocked. If it's a bunch of crumbs and you put it on top of
Goes
there,
up like a Roman candle.
lights up, and then it like fucking burns, and you walk away from it.
No wonder
and-
it has a lot of calories in it.
Dude, it's
saturated with oil is what it is.
I was making fun of your olive oil this weekend, but I wasn't really because
were.
I have
It was devastating.
sincere concerns about the types of oils that we cook with.
Yeah, sure.
And
I
a lot of
understand
the refined oils that they say, hey, this is olive oil. Well, it's not. Some of it's like, all right, well, some of the fine print's like, well, we're 80% olive oil, and 20% of this is just refined oil. And some of the oil that they use in the refined oil is the same shit you put in your fucking car. It's not good for you. It's not meant for humans. It's fucking United States of America. They feed us shit. The
So
FDA
you're
does
saying
not
olive
give a
oil
fuck.
has motor oil in it?
I'm saying some of it does, yes.
Yeah, so
Refined
So I did
oil.
look at the ingredients after he said that. I looked at the ingredients, and it only had olive oil and refined olive oil.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to
But
that.
that's the difference.
So I mean, there was nothing else crazy in there,
But hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
Do you know what refined oil is?
Refined
Producer?
olive oil.
Refined oil, olive oil.
Olive oil, yes.
So so this refined olive oil doesn't mean that it's refined olive oil. It's saying it's refined oil. That means it takes oils. I'm telling you, I speak the truth.
I tell you what, I am going to be. I tell you what, after you said that, I'm going to.
So a lot of some of the oils that we eat every day, chips, tortilla chips, the stuff's not good for you. It just sits in your
Oh,
gut.
of course, none of that stuff's good for us.
I
Right?
know,
We know
but
that.
this is something that we use every day.
I know.
And it's just layers and layers of shit like this that make us look like bowling pins. I know I'm making an excuse for myself, but I don't eat super horrible.
Right.
It's just I eat what's around. I eat what's at the grocery store, and this is the stuff they sell us.
Right.
You know why they've got the FDA approves products to sell that they absolutely deny to sell in Europe. They're like,
Right.
we don't sell that shit.
No.
That'll kill you. But yet the FDA says it's okay for us Americans.
Yeah, I don't
Well, there's
agree
a whole
with that.
there's a whole faction of people who are against the GMOs, right?
Oh yeah, huge.
Genetically modified organism, right? So they've
I
genetically
think
altered
it's,
food.
Is it organics? Genetically modified organics.
Organics.
Oh.
Well,
I don't know what the O is.
Yeah, so it's been genetically modified to be bigger, more flavorful,
Well, and
grow faster,
more importantly,
Organism.
insect resistant
correct.
organisms. Genetically
Yep.
modified organisms. Well, that's even worse. That's gross.
Genetic material has been altered using genetic engineering techniques. Exact definition of a genetically modified organism or constitutes genetic engineering varies with the most common, but an organism altered in a way that does not occur naturally by mating or natural recombination. So, based on this, we can come up with another reason why gender roles it says, does not occur naturally by mating. It says there.
Right.
All right. So in
Right.
theory, what they're doing, right? If there is a strain of wheat that's
sexist.
that's naturally immune to insects, okay, then
Right.
you have a strain of wheat that is really heat resistant. Then you have a strain of wheat that's drought resistant.
Then you splice all that together.
And then you're taking all these characteristics of all these different wheats and you're putting them together and genetically modifying it, and then now you have the perfect wheat. It takes very little water. It doesn't wilt under intense heat, and it's naturally immune to insects.
Right.
And you don't have to spray it with insecticide.
Right.
So it doesn't sound like a bad thing. But the problem is, and then you would have scientists that are on both sides of the aisle on this one. The problem is when it's genetically modified like that, your body doesn't necessarily know what to do with it.
But the problem
Right?
with
It
scientists being on both
know
sides
how
of
to
the aisle
digest it.
is that half those scientists on the other side of the aisle
Yep.
are being paid.
Yeah, you don't know
It's
who to
kind of
trust.
like
I agree with you. I agree
climate
with you.
change. It's like all the people that think that we're in a
Yes.
world of hurt because of climate change
Are being
they're
paid.
all being fucking paid by the
They're
government.
being paid to say that.
So,
yes.
well, they're not being paid. They are being paid to say it, but they're not going to be funded
If they don't.
If they don't,
No, I understand that.
we're going to fund you to do further. It's a
To
racket, man.
to
Yeah, so if
support
they come
our
out,
theory.
so if they come out and say, "Yeah, I know you just paid me $800,000 to prove that climate change is happening, but based on the research I'm doing, it's not."
Right.
Isn't this crazy? How
Oh, I'm sorry,
politics,
we're not gonna renew your
grant.
your grant.
Right.
That's
It's crazy
absolutely
how
true.
politics
I
will
believe it
seep
100%.
into every single orifice of everything that we talk about. It's just indirectly.
Yeah.
Except hot dogs.
You know what I found
Except what?
was
Except for hot dogs.
hilarious.
Lips and assholes.
Yeah.
That I recently just been reintroduced to was the Family Ties with
Michael Keaton.
Michael J. Fox.
Fox.
Says Michael
Not
Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael J. Fox.
Well, you
You're
know,
so wrong.
it is that
That was a
show
really wrong.
was Mr. Mom.
was hilarious, man. I mean, it
Family
was
Ties.
it was
Oh, yeah.
cheesy as shit.
Now,
I
wasn't
mean,
the
it-
whole family liberal, but Michael J.
Yes.
Fox wasn't?
Yes, because I was listening to some of the stuff that the dad was saying, and they were talking about, celebrating. It was like, we haven't celebrated that much. Said Nixon got thrown out, and it was just like, it was just the banter going on between Michael J. Fox and his family.
But can we do that now?
It's
Can we have a show like that now where there's funny banter in a family
Well,
that is like
like
like in
political?
Roseanne, but then
They killed her off.
they killed her.
Well, I sent you that SNL
Was it
clip
Roseanne?
Yes,
Yeah, they
based
killed her
on
off.
one comment.
about the gorilla comment.
Oh well, she looked like a goddamn.
Valerie,
no.
The comment was Valerie Jarrett.
Looks like
Was
Planet
it
of the
Valerie
Apes.
Jarrett?
She looked like
Yeah.
the actor that played the
They
woman on.
they showed Valerie
And
Jarrett.
she does. I don't give a fuck.
They
what
showed
say.
Valerie Jarrett and they showed Planet of the Apes.
She
And
looks the
that
same.
and
It was the
that is
same
what
bull
sunk
haircut.
Roseanne.
Roseanne, yeah.
It totally sunk her.
Uh,
They
I-
took away her show. It's her show,
I know.
and they continue the show. Is it doing well?
I don't
Without
know.
her?
I have not watched one of.
I
them,
haven't
so-
watched ever since they left it. I haven't watched it.
that show I haven't watched it either. In fact, I can't believe if it's still on.
It still is.
It's probably still on because
Oh.
they are trying to make a point. Probably. It'll
Yeah,
probably
this
get
is so.
terrible
This
ratings.
is so awful. It's so awful. I mean, and I know they're calling it a racist thing.
But it wasn't. It was a.
I
It
guess
was-
it is
Is
racist.
she-
though.
is
It's
she-
got to be racist,
It's
right?
not racist. Is it racist? Okay. Look at something in this room. If I were to compare something A to B, and I don't give a fuck what it is. Look at those two side by side pictures.
So
I mean,
if I had a
She has the bull haircut.
life size bowling pin that was a black bowling pin with a tan top, and I said, "You look like that bowling pin
Well, you know what? With the red neck on it, right?
with a red neck and a tan top," would that be racist?
No,
No,
It's
it's you're making an observation, kind of like
you're making
know,
fun of him.
Right.
Is it
It's
making
not
fun of me?
racist. Well, sure it
It's a look at you, for example. You're walking up there. It's like I'm gonna compare. I don't know. That's rude. I was gonna say something about your hearing aids, but it's just not working.
Yeah, that's
It
racist.
doesn't. No, but
oh,
it doesn't
that's completely
matter.
racist.
But all I'm doing is I'm making like a.
Yeah, you're poking fun. You're
Yeah.
making fun of somebody.
But
But
what,
so
what if you were black, and I compared you to Cloud City's security guards? You know how the hearing aids that they wear, but they're
on
oversized.
Star Wars?
On
Oh, for
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
On Cloudcraft.
look
Remember
at
those
you
things?
throwing out a Cloud City
Dude.
Empire Strikes
reference?
Back.
Well, that's where Lando was.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not making fun of your race. I'm making fun of you.
Right. Right. I'm not making fun of your race. I'm making fun of you. That should be a meme.
I wish someone would just spell it out for everybody.
But the thing is, Valerie Jarrett is black,
She is.
and they compared
doesn't
her.
look
and,
black,
and
though.
Roseanne compared her to an ape.
She doesn't look black. She looks,
I know, but Roseanne compared her to an ape.
but
you
look,
can't get away with
she
that.
could be half Indian, half Jamaican, or quarter Jamaican. What is Kamala Camel Toe Harris?
Indian and Jamaican.
Yeah, she. Hold on, I thought she was Chinese,
No,
Chi-
Indian.
Asian.
But you
Well,
see my
India
point.
is Asia.
You see my point. She can't get away with that. She can't get away with that.
What you saying that
see,
was bad?
Well, see,
Yeah,
someone could-
Roseanne made a huge mistake. But now, should she have her whole show be
I
taken
don't
from
think
her?
so.
No.
No.
I think it's stupid.
No, it's retarded.
Someone compared her to Austin Powers.
Right? I mean, is that racist?
Oh, it is racist.
Comparing a white man to Valerie Jarrett
That's a racist.
With British teeth.
with
I would-
British teeth?
I would kill them.
I don't know, guys. I mean, we live in a crazy world where you can lose your TV show over one. Was it even? Did she say it or did she tweet it?
She tweeted it.
I don't know.
She tweeted
You can lose your entire TV show and career
overnight.
Overnight.
And it was the
based on a
Carrera
tweet.
girl, the
Twitter's cost several
Mandalorian
careers.
She lost her career. In fact, there was something that came out this past week where
Who did?
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
Oh yeah.
Is she
and-
coming back?
She
Is
Well, they were going to bring her back for
we-
the demand was for her to come back, and the direction from the director was that they were going to re-embark on something, and then after further, they decide to squash it. They're not going to bring it back.
That's
She's fucked.
outrageous.
But
And it wasn't even her tweet. She
She
retweeted it.
retweeted it.
And all she was saying was comparing the actions of politicians to what was happening in pre-Nazi Germany or
all right, well,
in Nazi Germany, which is not that crazy.
it is.
Honestly, it's not that crazy.
You know what else not crazy?
A lot of the actions that have happened in this country in the last 2 years
Anybody that
draw
goes
a
out
lot of comparisons.
and buys a bottle of this Penelope, this Penelope.
Penelope.
Pene. It's Penelope.
Penelope.
It's Penelope.
I enjoyed it.
It's really good. We're gonna have more of that.
Usually, I feel this way on the second half. I feel this way on the first half. This
Tell you what,
is
I plan
Well,
on
you're,
having.
you're shooting it.
I plan
I
on
shot
having
it.
more during the break.
No,
Here,
we have a
but
different one.
You know what I would like to open? We started out we started out talking about grills and grilling and smoking
You
meat.
want to talk about that?
I want to open with that because we talked about charcoal, and I know that he finds it boring because it's not a sexual fetish. But when smoking meat,
Or is it?
Smoking meat turns me on.
It
I'm
does
Paul.
me. I love smoking meat.
And I'm Paul.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Sean, and I'm concerned. Does Jerry know that you like smoking his meat?
I didn't smoke his meat.
Now I know.
All right.
All right, we'll catch you guys on the flip side.